Hello everyone, welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So I kind of wanted to talk to you today about your fall gardens. Let's go over some things you can be doing now, the very end of July, to get ready to get those fall gardens in the soil. Now here in Zone 9A, 9B, Southeast Louisiana, basically my summer garden is also my fall garden. What do I mean by that? So most of my summer plants that I planted back in the spring are still producing, still growing, and they will continue to grow through the fall here in Southeast Louisiana because, believe it or not, guys, our falls are probably most of America's summers. It's just brutally hot and sunny all the way up until like mid-December. Now, so what that means for me is there's not that much I really need to do to get ready for a fall garden. I'm basically just going to be adding in some fall varieties, winter varieties into my garden. So one of the things that you want to do is set up a checklist. What I'm talking about, guys, is you need to decide when your first frost date is expected. Write that date down. That date is going to determine what you can plant, when you can plant it. Cherokee purple snap beans, well, then you need to know how many days to harvest from the time you put it in the soil until the time that you can harvest that it's going to take. So then once you know how many days that's going to be, say it's 60 days. If your first frost date is expected November 1st, and it takes 60 days from the time you put that seed in the soil until you can harvest, then you don't want to wait until, say, October 15th to plant them because you're simply not going to get a harvest from them. To be successful, you have to have a game plan. So, what is your game plan? Are you going to do raised beds? Are you going to grow in pots? Or are you going to do aquaponics? Are you going to do in-ground, till, no-till? A lot of big decisions, guys, but you need to decide and firmly which type of farming and gardening are you going to do? What is going to work best for you in the environment that you are in, okay? So once you have decided when your frost date is, what type of gardening you're actually going to do, from there, the rest is pretty self-explanatory. But I'm telling you guys all this because this was hard-earned knowledge. My dingy self put in okra transplants last year in September, beginning of September, because I didn't want to put them out in August because you have a hard time transplanting anything in 105-degree, 12-hour sunlight spot. And that's the only spot I have to garden. So I made the mistake of waiting till September, and lo and behold, we got a freaky early frost that came through like October 20th, and it wiped out my entire garden, including the okra. So my gardening season ended, boop, very quickly. And guess what? I had not already bought seeds. I wasn't prepared for a fall garden. So I lost everything and literally could not grow any more food in my garden until I put garlic in, and until spring of this year. So I don't want that to happen to you guys. And it can happen. I was a new gardener. Technically, I guess you could say I still am. But we live and we learn, right? So once you've decided what kind of gardening, what type of farming you're gonna do, the next thing you need to do is prep the area. So I've already begun that. I've already got the beets, the turnips, all of those things going into the garden. But what I need to do is begin prepping for the areas that I'm going to be growing carrots and root vegetables. So if you're going to do like a totally different garden for your fall, regardless of where you live, if your summer garden is spent, if you are done with it, if you decided it is not worth worrying and attempting to get one more squash off that plant, and you've pulled everything up and you've thrown it into the burn pile, and now you're like, hey, I need to get ready for my fall garden. So this is what you're going to do. You guys didn't get to see the video building soil, making soil. Keaton and I, my godchild, got out here on a very hot July day and we started pulling weeds. After we did that, we brought in horse manure, rabbit manure, cardboard. We brought in wood chips, shredded cardboard, and basically I keep this area wet. I need to wet it down really good, and in this heat and in the sun, it's all deteriorating very quickly, leaving me with a beautiful layer of organic matter on top of my hard packed. First things first, guys, you need to get your seeds. I'm telling you that at the end of July for a very specific reason. The last couple of years, ever since COVID, seeds are much harder to find. So one of the things that you can do is go ahead, order the seeds that you want. That way you're not stuck trying to grow things you're really not interested in, okay? So Johnny's is a great place to get seeds from. I get a lot from them. I also buy locally. Like if I go into the feed and seed store or anything like that and I see a seed or a brand that I want, I get it. There's nothing wrong with inviting as many pollinators as you can get to your property. So let's review before we go any further. We know when our first frost date is. We've written that down. We've decided what seeds we really need. Number 3, we have really sat down and decided this is the type of gardening that I am going to do for my fall garden. Number 4, we're now prepping that area. We're adding things like horse manure, cow manure. Now, let me interject right here. You guys, if you use anything other than rabbit or goat, it must be composted a minimum of 6 months. If you're going to use horse manure, please make sure that wherever you get it, they can tell you whether or not the hay they fed their horses had been sprayed with Grazon. If they can't answer that question, that horse manure should not go into your garden, okay? Because you could be accidentally bringing in some kind of toxin like Grazon, which is an herbicide, and it will kill your plants, and really hard to get rid of once you invite it in, okay? So be responsible about where you're going to get your manures from. Next, you're going to order or you're going to start collecting whatever you're going to use for heavy mulch on that garden. Just remember, if you get manure, you can have it delivered and you can let it sit in your yard like I've been doing with this horse manure for like 4 months. It was a little hot. It was still smoking, literally smoking when they delivered it to me. So I'm just letting it sit in the elements. Not going to hurt anything. Not going to hurt anything at all. Next thing, if you want your garden to thrive, you've got to start amending your soil, and that takes time. Okay, don't get discouraged, guys. You can do this. Just write down your frost date, get everything you need prepped and ready like you're going into surgery, all right? Decide where you're gonna put it, decide what type of gardening you're gonna do, and then walk through the steps to get that area ready for the best garden you have ever planted. I believe that everything your hands touch will multiply. Guys, you must sow it to reap it. If you're gonna do foliar sprays like comfrey tea, well, you need to get your leaves, you need to get them in a bucket. That's a 3 to 4 week process to make comfrey tea. So you need to get that started now too. You need to locate, if you're a heavy mulcher like we are here at Starkey Farmstead, where are you gonna get your hay, or are you gonna use leaves? For me, I actually will be putting in my order for my 6 round bales of trash hay at the end of August to go ahead and get my entire garden covered. So I can't necessarily tell you what you need to do because I don't know how you're gardening, what you're using as a heavy mulch. I don't know how you fertilize, and I don't know what zone you're in, but I can help you think through some of the things that you need to do. So you've got to get ahead of some of these to-do things. We're at the end of July. Fall is right around the corner. You're going to be wanting to go ahead and plant, and a lot of people, we all do it. We wait literally until the last minute. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that, because with transportation being backed up with the price of things, you might back yourself into a corner. So if you're going to use mulches, go ahead and start gathering those materials. If you need wood chips, go ahead and start locating wood chips. If you're going to use trash hay, start finding someone who's got hay today. Line these things up. So get out there or get inside now the heat. Look at the sweat rolling down my face and plant it. But you have to take the step forward or it's never going to happen. I think in my heart, no, I believe in my heart, guys, that we had all better be planting very large fall gardens and whatever we can get to grow through the winter in our zone. You know it. I know it. It's why you clicked on this video. So God bless you. I believe that you can do this. I believe that I can do this. Let's row in each other's boats. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share our videos. Let people know that you can do this on small acreage, debt-free.